Welcome everyone. Welcome to this InvestGlass presentation. I'm Alexander. I'm the CEO of InvestGlass. How do we deliver the next generation of efficiency? First, you have to make sure that on your CRM, you configure your CRM correctly. If you're using an API with North Data, OpenSanction, LexisNexis, Polixis, and you're collecting data, please make sure that you open the API just at the level that you require. Then connect the API of your choice. InvestGlass App Store has more than 50 now pre-built API connections. So please contact us if you want to know more about this. And this will be very important to shrink, of course, the implementation time. How do we squeeze the time of implementing your bank onboarding or your wealth management onboarding with InvestGlass? We are now looking at all the documents that you have, and we're turning those documents into the fields that you see below. So it's a bit small, but you'll get the idea very quickly. We turn onboarding forms. We turn also the regulatory prospectus, investment protection, product distribution rights, etc. And we turn those elements into fields, custom fields, as you know, but also into automations, into tasks, into notification, and we can go as far as also setting up the right automation for the right person in your organization based on his role. And this changes completely the onboarding. To give you an onboarding of 50 to 80 documents took us 6 months 4 years ago. Just right after, maybe a year after, we turned down to around 2 months. And now for the same quantity, we are around 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, depending on the complexity. Of course, there are a lot of details which yet AI cannot capture, but we are improving this AI to make sure that it will be more and more efficient. Now, today I'm going to show you a simple, powerful, and efficient way of onboarding your customer. This is your dashboard when you arrive on your CRM. You see your quarterly goals, your leaderboard. You're going to see as well the tasks, maybe the approval chain. Here I have 2 ways of onboarding a new prospect. First, I click on this widget on the top in the center, and I'm going to start an onboarding. The second solution is to create the contact and then start the onboarding. Here, I created this prospect. And as you will see on the top right, we have an orange pre-onboarding button which appeared. This button will only appear if this is a prospect. Once the prospect enter into a life cycle management with a pipeline, with tags, with audiences, then the button here will disappear or can be switched. This is with the function button. By clicking on the button, I'm going to bring a simple, powerful, and efficient tool for my wealth managers, my relationship managers. It opens a form, and based on those pre-built answers, automatically it will pinpoint what is the client looking for. And most importantly, at the bottom of this image, once I'm going to select, for example, the natural person individual based on my previous answers above, the machine will give me the list of documents that I need to collect. This is the most efficient process you can have when onboarding a prospect. Of course, it works for individuals, but it works also for companies. It works for different types of client regulations, civil law, common law, and all products that you can have. Once I submitted this form, the CRM is going to be updated. First, we're going to find that there's now a pipeline that has been added. And for those using the pipeline today with InvestGlass, I strongly incentivize you, encourage you to use the select reason. Why do we want to do this? Instead of writing contact report, which we used to promote 5, 6 years ago, now each time you change a stage in the pipeline, a pop-up page will open with a drop-down of potential explanation of this change of stage. You can also freeze lock the stage once the answer has been fulfilled. You can also prevent that someone goes back on a previous stage. And you can also decide that specific stage can only be changed by specific people with specific roles. By doing this, you can then prove to your regulator, you can prove to your customers as well that you're following a stringent, efficient process in the lifecycle management. Now, once I click on the submit of the onboarding form, it also added some tags. And those tags are going to be very useful because with those tags, I will be later on able to call onboarding forms, to create a package. Now, as you know, a package is usually a mixture of different services, different regulations. I have this very fancy add from current tags, which is going to collect all the tags that you pre-selected here and automatically add them to create your future package. A package, as I said, is a collection of onboarding forms. And this package can have an or condition based on the complexity of what you want to build with InvestGlass forms. Now, why is this simple, powerful, and efficient? Is that before you would have to remember, you would have to learn about the package, you would be stuck because you don't know all the definitions, and maybe the package are changed by a compliance or a legal officer. Here, with one click, relationship manager, wealth managers collect everything, and it's perfect. Once this is ready, then again, we go back now to the onboarding forms with the pre-built packages. The pre-built packages can work with different types of conditions and points and variables. For those using InvestGlass for some time, I'm encouraging you to have a look at the variable system. The variable system is super powerful to calculate risk, NOGA risk, distribution risk, loan risk. All those risks can be calculated from within InvestGlass variables, so within the forms. And then the values can be either recalled and, of course, stored inside the CRM fields. Now, of course, the idea is to make sure that once the PDF or your documents are changing, we will be able to change this. And again, using the AI conversion of PDF into InvestGlass will help you to save a lot of time. So what we built with InvestGlass, of course, it's a no-code tool, which looks beautiful, which is easy to use, which you can use with pre-built documents, but also a system where you can upload your own documents. And here, InvestGlass architecture has been built not only to mimic your core banking system, if you do have a core banking system, but to mimic any type of structure, trusts, companies, associations, where you have members with different rights, uploading different documents. Now, once you have done that, of course, InvestGlass is packed with security tools. When onboarding a new prospect or new customer, you might want to apply a two-factor of authentication. What is this? I'm sure you've opened a bank account in a digital bank already in your life, so you know, or you receive an OTP, a one-time password or PIN on your mobile phone, and you have then to insert those 6 digits back into InvestGlass to validate the process of account opening. We also offer a system with a QR code, as you can see to the right. Now, InvestGlass, of course, has been built for multiple parties. So if you're looking to open accounts for sophisticated structures with multiple UBOs, multiple LPOAs. You have all what you would expect here. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Of course, if you have questions, as usual, go to our website, investglass.com, to ask us any questions. So, as you know, I wish you a lot of great business, get them all. And as I always say, in Swiss sovereignty, we trust.